So today, I would like to speak to you about wisdom and about Proverbs. The Wisdom of Proverbs in King Solomon. It's a fantastic book full of all kinds of fantastic advice, right? There's advice on humility, which is critical. There's advice on the fear of God, which is critical. There's advice on how not to be a guarantor of debts, right? There's advice on your words and how important your words are, which is critical. And there's advice on getting wisdom itself and the value of wisdom and all this stuff. It just goes on and on and on and on. I've barely scratched the surface for those of you who are familiar with the book, right? So I would like to point out another facet of wisdom that the Bible teaches us. And it's actually found in the New Testament. Okay? And this is only one facet of it, there's more. But this one is pretty critical. In the book of 1 Corinthians, Paul says that Jesus himself has become to us wisdom from God. That's a pretty cryptic, grand, encompassing statement. So we have the book of Proverbs, in which we have all the wisdom of Solomon, which we know he got it from God, right? But he didn't get it all from God, right? Jesus is all of God's wisdom. Okay? So there's a high value on wisdom in the church and in the Bible, and I'm not downplaying it. What I'm doing is upplaying Jesus and how he is actually wisdom from God. Okay? So in Proverbs we have a bunch of wisdom from God, but in Jesus we have a living being who has become to us wisdom from God, right? And in another place, Jesus was talking to people. He was telling them that when they were in tough positions, Jesus would actually give them wisdom that none of their opponents could refute. And Jesus himself, when he was arguing with people in the Bible, he always just shut them right up. He always had the perfect answer, of course, because when you are wisdom from God, there's no arguing with that, right? Which is another verse in Proverbs that says there is no argument, no wisdom against the Lord, right? No counsel against the Lord, of course. So when the Lord himself is sitting there speaking to you, you just don't argue with the guy, right? But the point that I would like to make is that in Christian culture, there has been a lot of emphasis on wisdom and the wisdom of Proverbs and the wisdom of Solomon, but not enough emphasis on knowing Jesus, who is literally wisdom from God, right? So one, you've got a book of wisdom from God through Solomon, right? Which is valuable. But on the other hand, you've got a living being who is literally wisdom from God, and there's not very much value on knowing him, right? So which one do you want? They're both good. This one is good. This one is infinitely good. This one is actually a lot, infinitely, eternally better, right? So you can take this wisdom and apply it to your life, and it's good. Or you can know this living, eternal being who is infinite deity, right? And who literally is wisdom from God, and be in a relationship with him and let him run the show. And like, which one's going to get you farther? This one's going to get you infinitely farther, right? And not only is it going to get you infinitely farther, but it's going to like be more fulfilling in life to be in a loving relationship with the one who is wisdom from God, right? And it's going to be better for you, better for your family, better for the world, right? So this one's good, right? But don't stop there. Move on from here and go on to here. This one is finite. This one is infinite. Right? And the last point I would like to make on this is when you finish reading Proverbs and you move on to the book of Ecclesiastes written by Solomon as well, Solomon basically gives us a summation of all of his wisdom and says, well, it's basically to fear God and do what he says, right? To live with your wife and family and enjoy the work of your hands, right? So that's kind of saying what I'm saying, that the goal is actually relationship with God anyways, right? But the point is that knowing Jesus, who is wisdom from God, is infinitely more valuable than simply having head knowledge, even head knowledge from God, right? This is good. It's good to have head knowledge from God, right? I'm not saying that's a bad thing, okay? But it's infinitely valuable to be in a relationship with the one who is wisdom from God. Have a nice day.